Hello, mis amores! We're back! It's time to make some more recipes. And for this video, I decided I wanted to make like very, I don't know if they're popular for everyone in this world, but I keep seeing them everywhere. So they're popular in my world. Recipes, but turn them vegan or try to make a vegan version of them because most of these recipes are very reliant on milk to experiment a little. Yeah, I'm just very confident in them still being good vegan. Not that it's like super terrible to eat something vegan, but it's always nice, right? I don't know, I just wanted to try it. We're gonna make a vegan chocolate horchata. So far I've only had horchata like 2 or 3 times. One that Naomi tried to make, but she said it wasn't very good. I don't really remember. Then the other one was really good, that was in Valencia. And then I probably tried it elsewhere. The one in Valencia was really nice because we also had it with churros. That was nice. Oh, what I was trying to say is that I never had, out of the 2 times that I've had horchata so far, never had either a vegan one or a chocolate one. And today we're gonna do both of these things. I don't even know if like chocolate horchata is very common, but maybe it should be. And this is what we're here to find out. Ooh, for those of you who don't know, horchata is like baby, basically a cold drink made of rice, spices, and milk blended together to then create magic. So let's go. Here's what you need. A cup of jasmine rice. Apparently jasmine rice is what you're supposed to use for this, according to the interwebs. To this rice, we're gonna add 2 cinnamon sticks. And then technically 2 chocolate abuelitas is what the person in the video used. And we chose the better version because the other one was a Nestle and the comment section said, "Don't buy abuelitas. Abuelitas is bad anyway. Buy Ibarra instead." So that's why we bought Ibarra. Then I bought it and then I realized, oh, I never even checked if it's vegan. And so I looked at the ingredients and like there's nothing in there. And then I checked on the internet and according to their website, it's actually vegan. Naomi just made a normal, because this is like chocolate that you made chocolate milk out of. And we just had it and it was actually really nice. It contains a little bit of cinnamon, which I could taste, but Naomi couldn't really taste it. But I really like the taste of it. They're basically these discs of chocolate that you're supposed to dissolve in hot milk. We're now gonna add, oh no, they're all broken. We're now gonna add 2 of these discs to our rice. We're gonna cover it with 2 cups of hot water or 270 milliliters, 273.176. Gonna do a little bit of that for no reason at all. We're gonna leave it in the fridge for at least an hour after covering it. Yoo-hoo! See you later. It is time for the blender. We're ready to make the horchata. I hope it soaked well enough because Naomi said she had to let it soak for like almost a day. If the recipe says at least an hour, then I'm gonna do at least an hour, and it also means that I should be fine after an hour. Not like that. Definitely not like that. Moving on. We're also gonna add 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And then our milks. I was so dumb. I only bought like 1 can of each and I need it again for my next recipe. So now I'm gonna have to go get a new one in a little while. Anyway, you add a can of evaporated milk and a can of sweetened condensed milk. And I've got these sweetened condensed coconut milk and evaporated coconut milk, which I've heard great things about. So this is obviously vegan. That's thick. We've been over this. Time to blitz and blend this. This seems fine. Now we have to strain it. Two cups of oat milk. 2 cups of water. Oh no, it broke. That sucks. Well, add a lot of ice. Then we just mix. How do I still have some of the rice? This is our vegan chocolate horchata. Drama. Ta-da! It looks like chocolate milk. But I hope it tastes a little bit different. Just a little bit. Cheers. That's sweet. That's so yummy. Wow, I could sip this up. I mean, I think if you did a side-by-side comparison, yes, you would probably taste the difference to the normal regular milk, but I don't really taste that. So we did use a lot of water as well, so it'll always be a little watery. That's delicious. I can't even explain the flavor. Like, it does taste a little bit like chocolate milk, but then it does have this horchata flavor, and I really don't know how to explain it. I don't know. Like, obviously you get the cinnamon, and then and then it's just good. It's just good. You need to try this, and I hope that's how we feel about the next recipe as well. Hey, I'm so excited for recipe number 2, and I hope you are too. We're like deep into the pumpkin spice season already, as you can hear. And although I feel like the PSL is kind of dying a little bit, it's surprising still that this year I have yet to have anything pumpkin spice related. And obviously that has to be changed, and we can also make that change vegan. A couple weeks ago, months, I mean technically also weeks then, I've made a tres leches cake for the first time, and I really like tres leches cake, which is surprising because it's like very milky, and that's not usually my thing. But I thought, how about a vegan version? And so we're gonna make a vegan pumpkin spice tres leches, which is like so far from the original probably. I hope no one gets offended by this. And it's always fun to try something new, right? Tres leches cake basically consists of a sponge that you bake and then pour a mixture of 3 different types of milk on top and let it soak. Obviously we're gonna use vegan alternatives, but we're gonna start with the cake anyway, which we don't need anything vegan for, non-vegan. But here's what you do need. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 356 Fahrenheit. This is 240 grams of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And of course, a pumpkin spice mix. But if you want to make it yourself, then I'm just gonna edit it in the description what you need for it. Before we get to the wet ingredients, we're gonna have to sift, apparently, the dry ingredients. That wasn't too bad actually. Set aside, because it's time for the wet ingredients. A cup or 240 milliliters of unsweetened oat milk, preferably barista style. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Stir it and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. So I don't know why that wasn't the first step. It's been like 8 minutes. That should be enough. Of course, we also need pumpkin puree. We're now gonna mix in 250 grams of pumpkin puree. So far, whenever I needed pumpkin puree, I made it myself. I feel like maybe for good reason, because this is very liquid and way more liquid than the one that I would make. Also, it really doesn't smell good, nor does it taste very good. All turn out great in the end. 150 grams of sugar. Then it says 100 milliliters of olive oil or any other neutral oil. And I feel like, I don't know, olive oil is so intensely olive oily that I did not want to pour 100 milliliters of olive oil in there. I feel like in a tres leches cake, it didn't really make sense to me. I chose neutral oil, and then I added a dash of like olive oil just to feel a little better about myself. And then just 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And lastly, fold the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients in 2 increments. Do not be tempted to overmix, it says. I'll try and resist the temptation. There's not a lot of folding going on if the liquids are so liquid. Well, now I have all of these flour bubbles. Oh, I really don't know if this is gonna taste good. I think we're good now. Now you need an oven dish to bake it in, which you're obviously going to have to grease. We're gonna be using oil for this. Oh, that's apple cider vinegar. Pour your batter into this baking dish and bake for 30 to 35 minutes. Guys, Our tres leches cake looks really good. I literally just took it out of the oven, and while it's still hot, we're gonna poke a couple of holes into it. We're gonna do as we're told, and then we're gonna let it cool to room temperature. Clear in the cube. I don't know why I said it like that, but what I do know is that we can combine the tres leches now to pour on top of our cake, because it's not yet tres leches. We're just gonna mix it in like something that we can pour out of. Don't worry, I went to the Edeka and I got what I needed. 240 milliliters of vegan evaporated milk, 120 grams of the condensed milk, another 240 of oat milk, half a teaspoon of vanilla, 30 more grams of the pumpkin puree. And now, easy part, you're just gonna pour it. It's just a lot, you know? That was only like half of it. I'm just gonna trust the recipe. I'm not gonna trust the recipe, I still have more. And then unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave it to soak in the fridge overnight. So I guess I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Good morning. I think it's time to try some cake because I want some cake and I have some cake in the fridge. Have a look, s'il vous plaît. What? What the fuck? It's just set on top now. How fucking shitty is that? I was supposed to now whip up some coconut whipping cream and put it on top, but obviously, I mean, we already have a topping. This is so infuriating. Well, let's hope it'll still be tasty. Or should I just put it in the oven for a little while so at least it gets liquid again? Also, it looks bad now. Well, it's like moist. So this is not a tres leches cake. Cheers. Yeah, the thing is, because we also put that in what is now the topping, I guess, it tastes a lot like the pumpkin puree, which, as I've mentioned, doesn't really taste amazing. It kind of tastes a little bit like you're eating cake with a carrot juice on the side. Let me try and put a piece in the microwave. You know what? Now at least it's like mushy, the way it's supposed to be. This is not the right texture now. Now the texture is like raw dough, and somehow it lost all its flavor. Guys, I actually did put it in the oven for like 10 minutes, and now it definitely is soggy, and it actually tastes really good now. For you at least, I still have recipe number 3, so let's have past Vincent make that. Hello. I know you won't believe it, but I'm really excited for the next recipe. This is something I've been meaning to try, or I've been wanting to try for ever. Like, I remember being born and the first thing I said, yes, I talked to him the first day, was,
I really want tamales.
My parents looked at me and were like, we can't give it to you, but we're sure by the time you're almost 30, you will be making them on your own. And wow, today is that day. As you may or may not have noticed, we're very in our Latin era in this video. So essentially a tamal or a tamale is masa, so a dough wrapped in corn leaves. Or I think also banana is possible. And then you can also add a filling to that dough. At least that's what we're gonna do. Always looked very intriguing, mainly because of the corn leaves and stuff, because that's just very not European, or at least not German. I've just always been intrigued by it, and so finally I ordered corn leaves, but I'm actually a little bit afraid because they expire in 2026, but then this definitely looks like mold. Please be good, please be good. Nice, could be saltier. With guacamole? Oh, also, I got one more thing. Obviously, we're gonna make vegan tamales and savory ones, but they had pre-made tamales dulces, so sweet ones, so that corn dough or masa is filled with sugar, raisins, almonds, and cinnamon. And that sounded really nice. These are actually not vegan, but I was too intrigued not to get them. Be that as it may, let's make our tamales. Here's what you need. You obviously need some corn leaves. The recipe says you can also use aluminum foil, but I don't know, 300 grams of cornmeal, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and half a teaspoon of baking powder, 150 grams of vegan butter. I've never bought vegan butter, so I hope that this one is fine. 150 milliliters of veggie broth. And I think that should be it for the masa. What else do we need? 300 grams of black beans, 1 onion, 1 chili. This is actually a peperoncino, but also it says to use 2 chilies, 5 tomatoes, which I hate because fuck odd numbers, 12 teaspoons of vegan shredded cheese. Honestly, I just got the cheapest one. I have never really bought vegan cheese, so I didn't know which of them were good. Salt and pepper. And then if you want, you can make a guacamole or so to have it with your tamales later. First, we got to take care of our corn leaves that we're gonna have to soak in hot water for 10 minutes. I think I'm gonna be able to use like most of these. Obviously, I'm not gonna use this one because like I don't want to wrap my food in this, do I? That's an interesting smell. In the meantime, we can prepare the masa. This is pretty hard, so I think I'm gonna soften it a little in the microwave. Okay, the cornmeal, turmeric, and baking powder. Add the butter, add some more butter, add even more butter, add all of the butter. Then the vegan broth. I also don't really know what consistency we're looking for, so. Oh, this smells like the tapas. And it looks very crumbly. I think this is good. I added a bit, maybe it's not good yet. Meanwhile, I guess I have to get rid of the water and we're just gonna wait to use them, I guess. It keeps like breaking. I'm not really sure about this masa, but I don't want to mess with the recipe too much. Let's chop our tomatoes and the chilies and then we're gonna put them to the test, the heat test, as in into a pot. And also the onions. What am I listening to? You won't figure it out. I'm listening to Leve. It just tells me to put the tomatoes and chili into a pot and heat them up and eventually add the onions and then after a while also add the frijoles. Now it's gonna get interesting, guys. Apparently you take corn leaf and you roll it. I really don't want to take out the rolling pin for that. Take a bit of your masa, roll it into a ball. Actually, I feel like you don't need to because you're gonna flatten it now. We're not even gonna wrap it, so I think maybe this is fine. Then you take a bit of your bean puree. Oh, actually, no, you don't. Actually, yes, it doesn't really matter. I got it. I feel like we put it everywhere. This is my first attempt, and after that, I'm gonna Google proper instructions. Then add some of the cheese. That does not smell good, nor taste good. And then I think we just wrap it, right? Like this. Unfortunately, my masa just is not it. And apparently my corn thingies aren't either. Yeah, personally, I feel like I don't really like this. Listen, I am alone at a crossroad, and this is what I find. How to wrap tamale. No, because this was correct. Now all that's left to do is to steam them. And to steam, I have to use our rice cooker. And I will not forget about our tamales dulces. Oh, 30 minutes? Yeah, I guess I can't make them all at the same time. Let's see how many we can put in there. Why is it pink? I'm just gonna put it in. 30 minutes, I guess. See you then.
30 minutes.
30, yes.
Well, it's been half an hour. The only thing with steaming it in our rice cooker is the fact that I can't like adjust the temperature at all. I was only able to switch between boiling and like keeping it warm. It'll be interesting, that's for sure. Have a look, s'il vous plaît. It smells like tacos. Let's take the prettiest one. Okay, cute, cute so far. Happy birthday. Time to unwrap. We're not gonna eat the corn. Oh, that's the cheese. Cheese. I mean, I don't really think it matters much whether or not it's cooked, because like, what is there to cook? So the ratio was a little off of my bite. I had like barely any filling, and also it's just cheese. I think the texture of my masa is a little off. Judging by other photos, I put more filling than they... Maybe it has to be a really, really thin layer of masa because mine wasn't super thin. I'm not getting any of the tomato bean paste. I don't mind the masa. Like, it tastes good, but it's just dry. It has potential, but I just did something wrong. Not being vegan, let's try the sweet one. It looks like I can just peel it and like bite into it. I don't know if this has a filling or if... Oh no, we just have a couple of raisins in there. So this is pretty dry too. Interesting. Oh. Slightly marzipan-y because of the almonds. I'm not super convinced if it goes with the corn flavor, honestly. If you like dip it in some yogurt or something like that. Okay, I do prefer my savory version. The sweet one isn't really for me. Fine, edible, but I'm not sure if I could eat this entire thing. This is a work in progress. We're used to better than fine. I'm a little bit sad to end this video on this note, but you know what? I'm just gonna pour myself another glass of the horchata and then I'll be just fine. I hope you'll be inspired to make the horchata now too. That brings me to the end of this video. I think it was still very successful, like everything was edible, especially because one of the things we made was a drink. Ahaha. Therefore, I'm calling this video a success. Well, this tells us that we can turn a lot of things vegan and they're still good. Maybe not the cheese. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Y entonces nos vemos la próxima vez y adiós.